In 1906, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, children worked in the coal mines under harsh conditions. An adult supervisor, holding a stick, oversaw their labor. This photograph, captured by Janet Lynn, reveals the stark realities of child labor in early industrial America. In the 1950s, rows of iron lungs housed polio patients at the Ranchos Los Amigos Respiratory Center in Los Angeles. These mechanical respirators sustained lives, reflecting the immense struggle against the devastating effects of polio. Before widespread vaccination, 1894, in Auburn, New York, a somber post-mortem photograph captured the Keller family, father, mother, and infant united in death. Following a tragic shooting, they were laid together in a single casket, their funeral drawing crowds of mourners to pay their final respects. In the 1800s, post-mortem photography was not considered morbid, but deeply compassionate. When death often came too soon, families used the camera to preserve memory and love. These final portraits offered comfort, transforming grief into remembrance and loss into lasting connection. In the 1800s, harsh lye soaps made frequent hair washing damaging. Instead, women brushed nightly, using boar bristle brushes to spread natural oils. This careful ritual kept hair clean, glossy, and strong, an art of beauty, patience, and preservation in Victorian life. In 1910, two 13-year-old boys contracted smallpox. One, vaccinated in childhood, developed only mild scabs that healed swiftly. The other, unvaxxed, suffered the disease's severe form and enduring. Testament to the life-saving power of early vaccination. In 1975, photojournalist Stanley Foreman captured a tragic moment in Boston. 19-year-old Diana Bryant and her 2-year-old goddaughter, Tiare Jones, falling from a collapsed fire escape. The Pulitzer Prize-winning image exposed urban safety failures and forever changed Victorian London's East End. Young Adelaide Springett became a symbol of unseen poverty. Photographed by volunteer Horace Warner, she posed barefoot, ashamed of her broken shoes. Her portrait endures as a haunting reminder of dignity, hardship, and compassion amid despair. In 1895, Las Vegas was a quiet desert settlement far from the glittering city it would become. A few scattered buildings and dusty streets stood against the vast Nevada landscape, marking the humble beginnings of a future entertainment capital. In the 1940s, Finnish sniper Simo, nicknamed the White Death, became a legend of the Winter War. In less than 100 days, he killed over 500 enemies using iron sights, unmatched patience, and silent precision before returning humbly to farm life. On August 24, 1925, Jolly Marie, weighing 620 pounds, won the Big Girls contest at Luna Park, Coney Island. Her $25 prize and season pass symbolized celebration and inclusion in an era when amusement parks embraced joyful diversity and innovation. For its assembly, the face of the Statue of Liberty was crafted in France by sculptor Frederick August Bartholdi, built in sections and shipped to the United States. This image reveals the early creation of America's enduring symbol of freedom. In 1936, New York Yankees legend Lou Gehrig auditioned for the role of Tarzan. Though his powerful build impressed studio executives, his physique didn't match Hollywood's vision. The screen test failed, but the moment became a charming footnote in his legacy. Taken in 1846, this is the oldest known photograph of the White House. Captured with early photographic methods, it offers a rare glimpse of the presidential residence long before it became the enduring symbol of American leadership and history. During World War I's Battle of Gallipoli, the French army supplied thousands of wine barrels for its troops. This vast reserve, part of daily rations, reflected the era's practice of using wine to sustain soldiers' strength and morale in battle. In early 20th century Turin, Fiat built a factory with a rooftop test track where new cars were driven before release. Though driving there is no longer allowed, the preserved structure remains, a remarkable symbol of industrial innovation and design. This photograph shows William Hutchings, one of the last surviving veterans of the American Revolutionary War. At age 100, born in the 1700s, he lived to see the young United States grow into a modern and independent nation. A World War I pilot for the Ottoman Empire, is regarded as one of the first black aviators in history. His pioneering achievements broke racial barriers, securing his legacy in both aviation and black history worldwide. Taken on October 27, 1904, This photograph shows the opening of New York City's first subway line, running from City Hall to 145th Street. It revolutionized urban travel and began the creation of one of the world's largest subway systems. Completed in 1885, Chicago's home insurance building is considered the world's first skyscraper. Standing 10 stories tall, it pioneered the use of a steel frame structure, revolutionizing architecture and paving the way for modern city skylines worldwide. Emma Lillian Todd, born in 1865 in Washington, D.C., was the first woman to design an airplane, a pioneering inventor and engineer. She advanced early aviation and opened doors for future generations of women in science and engineering. John Quincy Adams, the 6th U.S. president, was the first to be photographed. Taken in 1840, years after his presidency, the image captures him in later life. Adams is remembered for championing education, diplomacy, and national development. This experimental firefighting suit was designed to drench the wearer in water for protection against flames. Though never adopted, it reflected early innovation in fire safety and the creative efforts to improve protection for firefighters facing extreme heat. Herman the Cat served aboard a U.S. Coast Guard ship during World War II, earning fame as an expert mouser. Like many ship cats, he protected supplies from rodents and lifted crew spirits, becoming a beloved member of the wartime crew. Taken in 1921, this photograph captures Times Square as a lively center of New York City life. With theaters, streetcars, and bustling crowds, it reflects the early energy and excitement that would make Times Square world famous. Taken on March 4, 1861, this photograph shows Abraham Lincoln's first inauguration. Captured weeks before the Civil War began, it marks the start of his presidency and his historic effort to preserve the Union during America's greatest national crisis. In 1987, for its 50th anniversary, the Golden Gate Bridge closed to cars and welcomed over 300,000 pedestrians. The celebration let people walk the iconic span, honoring 50 years of engineering achievement and San Francisco's enduring symbol of pride. During World War II, Walt Disney designed a Mickey Mouse-themed gas mask to help children cope with air raid drills. By blending safety with familiarity, the design made protective gear less frightening during a tense and uncertain time. This unusual suit of armor was created to protect golf course workers retrieving balls from driving ranges. Designed to withstand stray shots, it made the job safer, though it resembled medieval armor more than modern safety gear, blending practicality with humor. Taken in 1860 by James Wallace Black from a hot air balloon. This is the first aerial photograph captured in the United States. Titled Boston, as the eagle and the wild goose see it, it offered a groundbreaking view of the city. This photograph shows a college dorm room from the 1910s, simply furnished with a bed, desk, and storage. Reflecting modest living conditions, it captures the disciplined and studious atmosphere that defined early 20th century college life. This photograph shows the White House interior during its late 1940s reconstruction. Structural decay forced a complete rebuilding of the inside while preserving the exterior. The renovation modernized plumbing, wiring, and design, ensuring the residence's safety and longevity for future presidents. Taken in 1931, this photograph captures downtown Manhattan from the newly opened Empire State Building. Then the world's tallest structure, it offered a breathtaking view of New York City's growing skyline and the vibrant urban life below. In the past, tourists freely climbed Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza, often relaxing or even hosting tea parties at its summit. Today, climbing is banned to preserve the monument, reflecting changing attitudes toward protecting ancient heritage and history. In 1969, engineers temporarily stopped Niagara Falls' American side to clear boulders from its base. The exposed riverbed revealed two missing bodies and offered a rare glimpse beneath the famous cascade, showcasing the immense power of nature and engineering. Taken in 1839 by Robert Cornelius, this image is considered the world's first photographic selfie. Captured outside his family's lamp shop, it marks the dawn of self-portraiture and the early evolution of personal photography. 1903, Edward Llewellyn caught a record-breaking 425-pound sea bass off Catalina Island, the largest ever recorded. His extraordinary catch became a legendary milestone in early sport fishing history and a lasting symbol of ocean adventure. On September 3, 1967, Sweden switched from left to right-hand driving in an event called Dagen H. This photograph shows the first day's organized chaos as citizens adapted, marking one of history's most ambitious traffic transitions. This rare photograph of President Andrew Jackson was taken shortly before his death in 1845. As the 7th U.S. president, Jackson was known for his populist leadership and fierce temperament, leaving a lasting mark on 19th-century American politics. This photograph shows Charlotte and Marjorie Collier, mother and daughter who survived the Titanic's 1912 sinking. They lost husband and father Harvey, along with their life savings. Their story reflects both heartbreak and the enduring resilience of survivors. This photograph shows economy class on a 1960s commercial airplane. As air travel expanded, airlines offered compact seating with notable comfort and style for the era. The scene reflects how design and passenger experience have evolved dramatically over time. This is Norma Smallwood, crowned Miss America in 1926 from Tulsa, Oklahoma, celebrated for her beauty, poise, and charm. She became a prominent public figure, reflecting the growing cultural influence of the pageant and its winners in 1920s America. This photograph captures President Abraham Lincoln at his second inauguration on March 4, 1865. Speaking during the Civil War's final months, he emphasized unity and reconciliation just weeks before his assassination, marking one of his last public appearances. This model represents the Welcome Stranger nugget, discovered in Australia in 1869, weighing nearly 160 pounds of nearly pure gold. It sold for about $46,000 at the time, symbolizing the immense wealth and legend of the Australian gold rush. This is the Willamette meteorite, the largest ever found in the United States and the 6th largest worldwide, weighing 15.5 tons and primarily composed of iron. It was discovered in Oregon and holds sacred significance for the Native American Clackamas people. This photograph shows spectators at Al Capone's 1931 trial, many hiding their faces with hats. Rumored organized crime figures attended the high-profile case, which ultimately led to Capone's conviction for tax evasion, marking a pivotal moment in Chicago's fight against crime. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the deadliest in U.S. history, killed over 3,000 people and devastated the city. The disaster exposed the San Andreas Fault and reshaped urban planning, prompting advances in building safety and earthquake preparedness. This photograph shows the RMS Titanic's first-class gymnasium, complete with rowing machines, stationary bicycles, and other exercise equipment. The luxurious facility reflected the ship's commitment to comfort and innovation, offering passengers a taste of high society, even while at sea. This rare 1937 photograph shows the U.S. Supreme Court in session, one of only two ever taken. Photographer Eric Salomon concealed his camera in a sling, capturing a unique glimpse of the justices at work inside the normally camera-free chamber. This 1933 photograph shows Central Park crowded with Hoovervilles, makeshift shantytowns built by the unemployed during the Great Depression. Named after President Hoover, they reflect the era's widespread poverty and the resilience of those struggling to survive in New York. This photograph shows the safety net beneath the Golden Gate Bridge. During its 1930s construction, known as the Halfway to Hell Club, it saved 19 workers' lives and set a pioneering standard for safety in large-scale construction projects. This is the USS Langley, the U.S. Navy's first aircraft carrier, converted from a collier in the 1920s, serving in the Pacific during World War II. She was scuttled in 1942 after Japanese attacks, paving the way for modern naval aviation. This rare photograph shows Vincent van Gogh around 1873, at age 20, as he began his art career. Born in 1853 in the Netherlands, he would later create over 2,000 works, becoming one of Western art's most influential and iconic figures. This is Albert Wilson, the last verified American Civil War veteran, enlisting as a teenage Union drummer boy. He lived to one, passing in 1956. His life bridged the Civil War in modern America, marking the end of a historic era. During World War II's Battle of Britain, farmers painted cows with white stripes to make them visible during nightly blackouts. With headlights restricted to avoid aiding enemy aircraft, even livestock received safety measures to prevent accidents on darkened roads. This photograph captures a Chicago bar on December 5, 1933, celebrating the end of Prohibition. Jubilant patrons toasted the ratification of the 21st Amendment, marking the return of legal alcohol and a lively shift in American social and cultural life. This 1895 photograph shows the oldest surviving X-ray of a human hand, taken by Wilhelm Röntgen shortly after discovering X-ray. His breakthrough revolutionized medicine, enabling doctors to see inside the body without surgery and transforming diagnostic care forever. This historic 1883 photograph captures the first international tennis match at Wimbledon. English brothers William and Ernest Renshaw defeated Americans Clarence M. Clark and J.S. Clark, marking an early milestone in international competition and boosting Wimbledon's global prestige. Taken in 1966 by NASA's Lunar Orbiter 1, this is the first photograph of Earth from the Moon's vicinity. The unmanned spacecraft, scouting Apollo landing sites, captured humanity's first view of its home planet from such an extraordinary distance. This 1903 photograph captures the first Tour de France, a six-stage, 1,500-mile bicycle race. Originally created to boost newspaper sales, it tested riders' endurance and determination, launching a legendary competition that remains one of the world's most famous sporting events. Taken in 1838 by Louis Daguerre in Paris, this is the first known photograph to include a person. Most of the street appears empty due to long exposure times, but a man having his shoes shined remains still long enough to be recorded. Taken in 1899 by French biologist Louis Boutin, this is one of the earliest known underwater photographs. Boutin's innovative techniques and equipment allowed him to capture marine life, pioneering underwater photography and advancing the study and documentation of the ocean. Taken in 1925 in Morocco's Atlas Mountains, this is believed to be the last known photograph of a Barbary lion in the wild. Once native to North Africa, these majestic lions were driven to extinction by hunting and habitat loss, though some survive in captivity. This is Selma Burke, the pioneering sculptor whose 1944 bas-relief of President Franklin D. Roosevelt inspired the image on the U.S. dime. A Harlem Renaissance artist and educator, Burke studied under Henri Matisse and left a lasting legacy in portraiture, public art, and arts education. This is Stefan Bobrovsky, known as Lionel the Lion-Faced Man. Born with a rare condition causing excessive hair growth, his long body and facial hair made him a celebrated performer in early 20th century circuses. The first Ronald McDonald was created and played by Willard Scott in 1963 for a Washington, D.C. McDonald's, with a paper cup nose, tray hat, and food tray belt. This early version marked the beginning of a globally iconic mascot. This is Gutzon, Borglum's original model for Mount Rushmore. Created in the late 1920s, his design showed the full upper bodies of Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln, though only their faces were completed due to funding and granite carving challenges, revealing his ambitious vision. This 1930 photograph shows a plane flying over Baghdad, offering a rare aerial view of the city's dense streets, traditional architecture, and historic landmarks during a period of rapid change in the region. This photograph shows the final possessions of Mahatma Gandhi: sandals, bowls, a book, eyeglasses, and a few modest items arranged on canvas-covered steps. Taken shortly after his 1948 assassination, it reflects his simplicity and the life of purpose he led. Born in 1919 in Waco, Texas, Doris Miller became a hero at Pearl Harbor in 1941. Though barred from combat, he rescued shipmates and fought back under fire. Killed in 1943, he was later honored with a U.S. Navy carrier bearing his name.